All right, good afternoon. I was just about to say good morning, but we've surpassed noon. So it's terrific to be here with you all this morning. I'm Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, and I have the honor of welcoming you and serving as MC for this afternoon's convening. So welcome to the Massachusetts State House and the Hall of Flags. If you live in Massachusetts, your community has their flag somewhere amongst us. It's great to see so many leaders from across our defense and innovation ecosystem, representatives from our major industry partners, our federal labs, our world-class universities, and so many state and local officials as well, all gathered here with the shared mission, and that's to strengthen the defense sector here in the Commonwealth and help safeguard the nation. You know, Massachusetts is no stranger to innovation and manufacturing in support of our national security and our defense industrial base. We've been doing this work a long time. The fantastic crowd here today truly reflects what I know and all of us acknowledge, some of the many people who are leading this work. And I'm so pleased to be joined by several on this stage. I want to acknowledge our governor, the captain of our team, Maura Healey. General Ray, the president and CEO of the Business Executives for National Security. Thank you, General Ray, for all your help. We're also joined by Dr. Jerry Wolitz, the president and CEO of Draper, somebody we've been working with closely. Our Secretary of Economic Development, Eric Paley. Is this like day 52 for you? Something like that. And Carolyn Kirk, who heads up our Business High-Tech Council. Thank you so much for being here. One of our quasis. We have a number of folks in the audience, and it really is not a good idea to name them all, but I'm going to try and name the ones that are part of our team for sure. We've got our Major General, Gary Keefe, who's here. Thank you, Gary, for all the work you do. A number of our cabinet members are here, in addition to Secretary Paley, our Veterans Secretary, John Santiago, our Secretary of Labor and Workforce, Lauren Jones. We've got Adam Friedberg, who's leading the Governor's Office of Military Asset and Security Strategy Task Force. Thank you, Adam, Mass TF. We've got council generals from a number of our international partners. Thank you for being here, as well as business, nonprofit, and higher ed leaders who I see here in force. It's a pleasure to have you all here. And we have got a team from Lowell here, because we're doing some important work in Lowell, teamed up with UMass Lowell. We've got City Manager Tom Golden. We've got Rep. Howard, Rep. Elliott, Rep. Hong. We also have Rep. Vieira from the Cape joining us. So thank you, representatives, for the work you're doing. As many of you know, Massachusetts already is and has truly been a defense state. Today and beyond, we are planning on bringing a higher level of priority to this work that you and so many others are a part of. We're already continuously in the top 10 of defense spending nationally, benefiting from a rich tapestry of large and smaller defense-related companies and manufacturers. And across this state, we have thousands of companies, large and small, nonprofits, federally funded research and development centers, and institutions of higher ed that have a unique and storied history of answering the nation's call in support of national and economic security. And between the work being done through the Northeast Microelectronics Coalition Hub, the Center for Advanced Manufacturing, the Cyber Center, and our AI Hub, all of these organizations are based here in Massachusetts. We're already doing so much and are positioned to be national leaders in the defense tech space. These numbers tell a powerful story. The defense sector supports tens of thousands of high-quality jobs across the Commonwealth. It drives innovation, not only in aerospace and defense systems, but in microelectronics, advanced materials, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. And the ripple effects expand across the economy, from precision manufacturing in Western Massachusetts to software innovation in Greater Boston to high-tech R&D along both the North and South Coast. We're also proud to have 6 military installations in the Commonwealth. I have visited them all. We are really poised to ensure that our base leaders and community officials understand the power of what these installations mean in their regions. I've also had the opportunity to travel to the Pentagon earlier this year to promote the important work our bases are doing here in Massachusetts, as well as the opportunity to do more. And what we heard from the Secretary of the Army and so many others is don't wait to be asked. Stand up, and that's what today is about. We're not waiting to be asked. What can we each do within our sectors to help? And we're already doing so much. Barnes Air National Guard Base. The Guard and the airport partner with Westfield Votech to support the next generation of pilots and aero manufacturers. At Devens, we have a premier training area in New England. We're also working with UMass Lowell and the Army Reserve to establish a Northeast Drone Security Center. At Hanscom, we've supported the establishment of new innovative contracting. We have our first partnership intermediate agreement. That's why we call it PIA. It's a heck of a lot easier to say. And that is going to help us secure space construction progress and supports really long-term growth in this field for Nexus and others. And at Joint Base Cape Cod, we currently have a master planning effort underway that can support the critical missions of those that occupy the base, as well as help support community needs. That's this idea behind how do we work together. At the Natick Soldier System, we're working on biotech efforts with our life sciences sector, and at Westover Air Reserve Base, we're working to support numerous heavy lift cargo missions in energy efficiency projects, knowing the work that happens there. Those are just a small subset of what we do when we work together. We can build a record on our past successes at our bases, expand beyond our bases, and align well with the federal government's defense efforts, many of which are in Massachusetts' sweet spots. We want to keep supporting this economy and certainly help with our nation's security. This progress shows that here in Massachusetts, we're a state that leads. We've always been the backstop and the beacon, and we continue to play that role. And we want to lead in the defense sector, and that's one of the reasons we've relaunched the Mass Task Force that brought Adam Frudberg on full-time to work in support of our base alignment. And then we're working strategically with our Secretary of Economic Development to make sure we're thinking about what that ecosystem needs. And then lastly, I'll say we're fortunate in Massachusetts that we have quasis, a number of them, from Mass Development, Mass Ventures, Mass Tech, and other agencies to help stand up and support this important work. That's a little bit of the startup mentality we're bringing to the defense sector. How do we do more? How do we leverage the assets and tools that are here? How do we make this ecosystem really sing? And everyone plays a role in that. Many of these are partnerships that are well-worn, that we know each other, we know this work. We just want to make sure we've got a maestro, and that's what we're here today to talk about. Today's convening marks as an important step forward in how Massachusetts can better align, better coordinate, and accelerate our opportunities to grow this critical part of our economy. So I want to do this by ensuring that we're operationalizing our efforts as an executive branch. That means our secretaries, our quasis, to recruit, retain, and really nurture this entire industry. Nobody is better to help us lead this effort and ensure that we're putting all of our efforts collectively towards this. The governor of our Commonwealth, both of us, hail from a military family and know not only the importance of this work for the men and women serving in our military, but the importance of this work to Massachusetts and to the Commonwealth and to the country. So we are all in on helping grow and support this industry, and that's what today's convening is about. And I have the deep honor and privilege of working alongside every day with the captain of Team Massachusetts, our Governor, Maura Healey, and it's my honor to introduce her this afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. I want to thank the LG, who is, speaking of teammates, she's an amazing teammate and partner to me and so many of us, and I want to thank her for her leadership as co-chair of this military task force. It is great to look out in this room and see so many people. Shout out to co-chair of Veterans Affairs, Rep. Joe McGonigal. I also see Senator Mike Rush in the House. Appreciate his work, and he is a veteran. Also, Senator John Velas is not with us today, but as a member of the National Guard, is currently deployed. So we thank him for his service. We also thank our federal workers, federal employees for their service. Some of them, as we know, are not able to work right now. Some of them are able to work, but we've got this federal shutdown going on, and I just want to thank them. They may be watching, for everything that you do day in and day out on behalf of this great country. Now, I'm really pumped to be here today to talk about the defense sector. You know, Massachusetts, we've been going on 250 years. You know, we're the birthplace of the Navy, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, right? And so much more. We even claim the Army sometimes, and certainly the Marines, because George Washington sent some folks from here. And we're the birthplace of the Revolution and what gave birth to this tremendous American Democratic Republic that we're a part of. And that is really exciting to me. And, you know, part of Massachusetts, our revolutionary spirit has also been a spirit of evolution and iteration. And it's certainly been that in the defense sector. As we look at and think about all the changes that have come through partnerships, including folks in this room, over the last many, many, many years. So that is really exciting. It's also why Massachusetts is appropriately and should be a cornerstone for the United States defense industry. I want to thank you for what you do. I want to thank you for being part of this integral ecosystem. And one thing when Kim and I came in, we decided we were going to do is give more life and more support to our military and this defense industry. It's good for economic growth. It's good for jobs. That's something that as governor and LG we care a lot about. It's good for our nation. And for all the talent that we have here, we didn't think that there was enough support. So it's why we reconstituted the military task force. We set Adam up in charge. It's why we're convening today. We've had an opportunity to work with many of you already in the last 3 years. But we really want to say that, and to be clear, that major companies have been leaders in defense technology from Massachusetts for years. Research leaders like MIT, Lincoln Lab, MITRE, and Draper Labs have given us a foundation. We've got exciting new startups and tech companies that are seeking opportunities to contribute to defense needs. We've got leaders in AI, cybersecurity, life sciences, quantum technology, energy, all of which we as an administration, and thank you to the legislature, have invested in through our major economic development legislation, the Massachusetts Leads Act. And you all know better than everybody how interconnected all these fields are in what you want to do. When you think about energy and AI and even life sciences and the relationship between what you all are doing, within the specific defense industry. And so that's why today we stand rooted in our history, but with an eye to the future, to say to you, we want to work together, we want to continue these investments in bigger and stronger ways, looking to keep America secure for another 250 years. So here's what I'm excited to announce. First, I'll be signing an executive order to advance the defense sector innovation and economic growth for our state. This order does a few things. One, I'm asking all state agencies to review all of their systems and figure out ways to improve and better support and drive economic growth and partnership for this sector. Second, we know that to really drive action, we need the benefit and be able to harness your wisdom and your thoughts. So for that purpose, today I'm proud to announce that we are establishing a working group called SHIELD. You see the logo. It's great. We worked hard on that. SHIELD, here's what it is. It stands for Strategic Hub for Innovation, Exchange, and Leadership in Defense. The SHIELD working group will engage leaders to drive collaboration across the broader technology and innovation ecosystem. It's going to focus on everything from public-private partnerships to workforce development to funding and investment to accelerate innovation. There are many steps that we're taking. Secretary Healey will say more about how we are prioritizing defense when it comes to our economic development in this state. Now, on to funding. Today, I'm proud to announce a total of $47 million in investment in this sector's growth. Okay? $47 million in this sector today. So let's start with NEMC. NEMC, the Northeast Microelectronics Coalition. This is one of 8 regional coalitions funded by the Pentagon across the country. And, I'll say, I'm looking at Chancellor Chen, competing and getting after, the work to secure this hub was one of the first things that we did in our administration. We are a competitive bunch up here. I know you are competitive too. This hub has proven to be a powerful catalyst for growth. It brings together partners who can create value and supply chains and technologies that are aligned with strategic defense priorities. Already, NEMC has expanded its membership base from 80 organizations to over 280 organizations in just 2 years. A year ago, we celebrated $38 million in federal funding for NEMC, and we're looking to build on this momentum through Mass Tech, who will deploy an initial portion of the state matching fund that we committed when we secured that hub funding. The funding is through something we call SCALE, which stands for, check this out, Supporting Chip Advancement from Lab to Enterprise, SCALE. And everything needs an acronym in government and the military. In other words, turning brilliant ideas into great jobs. NEMC will be funding 10 projects totaling over $10 million across this ecosystem. The 10 awards will include co-investment commitments of $15.2 million, already establishing a strong return on our investment. In total now, NEMC has generated over $60 million of investment from private organizations and third parties. Carolyn Kirk will say more about this. The second funding announcement today is about protecting our military service members. Protecting our military service members, something that we want to go all out in every way possible to do here in Massachusetts. These funds will support innovation by the U.S. Army at the Natick Soldier System Center and the U.S. Air Force and its partners at Hanscom Air Base. At the Army's Soldier Center in Natick, I'll tell you, there's a program called BioNexus. It's going to accelerate the discovery and the development of biomedical solutions that will be out there to protect the men and women who serve. Our $3 million investment by the state, leverages a $7 million investment from the Army. At Hanscom, a $1 million investment will help small businesses accelerate their path and their opportunity to partner with the U.S. Air Force on mission needs. Hanscom is already a leader in cybersecurity and AI, and also secure communications. And so this investment is really going to strengthen that support. Our third and final funding announcement is for the Lowell Innovation Network Corridor, or LINC, in partnership with Draper Labs. This is a really exciting announcement about how our defense innovation really pairs with the entire ecosystem, including our tremendous research universities in Massachusetts, UMass Lowell being one. In a combined investment with the City of Lowell, we're committing $25 million to support the construction of Draper's Integrated Microelectronics Production and Advanced Chip Technology Impact. That's what we call it. Impact Center, right, Jerry? It's great. It's going to be awesome. Now, the Impact Building, it's going to support 200 great-paying jobs. It'll enable Draper to execute hundreds of millions of dollars of contracts over the next 5 years. We love that. This new facility is also going to generate substantial state and local tax revenue, create economic opportunities through education and workforce development, and further nurture and enhance the already brilliant and growing innovation ecosystem in the greater Lowell area. Look, in closing, what makes this all possible is this incredible combination of patriots and innovators coming together, finding ways to work together as a team for a really important mission. The mission is about protecting our defense industry, protecting this great country and those who serve. It's all about moving forward with opportunities for economic growth in this state. And so I'm super excited about that as we launch today a new chapter in our collective story of Massachusetts leadership, and one that I know through today's investments will redound to benefit others for generations to come. Thank you all for being here. We could not do it. We could not do it without Draper Labs, and so it's my honor to call up the CEO of Draper, Dr. Jerry Wolitz.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting us to participate in today's Defense Sector Convening meeting. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Governor Maura Healey and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll for hosting this engagement. I would also like to acknowledge and thank the different distinguished attendees that are in the audience or online today, especially for your continued support to Draper Laboratories. For over 90 years, Draper Laboratories has pursued scientific discoveries and engineering solutions to solve the nation's toughest national security problems for the betterment of our nation and to defend democracy around the globe. Draper is recognized as an innovation factory for national security. This kind of success isn't an accident. It happens at the crossroads of academia, industry, and government as we work collectively to raise the bar both in engineering, science, and technology for the betterment of the nation. While Draper's inventions and fielded solutions are legendary, Draper's model for innovation, however, has made significant impacts to our local community partners. To put the significance of today's investment into perspective, I must take you back 50 years ago. Post the departure from MIT in 1973, Draper occupied a series of post-industrial buildings in the neighborhoods that were on the fringe of the MIT campus. In 1976, we moved into our new, at the time, very modern headquarters as one of the anchor tenants for the Technology Square investment. And that investment was the beginning of the revitalization of Kendall Square that led to today's world-leading innovation hub. Through the partnership with MIT, the City of Cambridge, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Defense Industrial Base, and our U.S. government national security customers, we have solved some of the toughest national security problems while being a catalyst for a vibrant innovation ecosystem in Cambridge and the surrounding communities. Using the same playbook, today we are expanding our partnership with the Lowell Innovation Network Corridor, again known as LINK, a public-private development led by UMass Lowell, UMass Building Authority, and the City of Lowell with the support of the Commonwealth. The goal of LINK is very straightforward. Create that thriving innovation ecosystem to transform Lowell's economic future, similar to the Kendall Square revitalization. In the next phase of our partnership, and in partnership with Wexford, GMH Communities, and First Atlantic, we will start construction of a new building in this coming year. As the governor said, it's called the Impact Center. I don't think I need to restate the very lengthy acronym for that. We are targeting completion to a very sporty timeline of 2028. This new facility will complement our existing campus in the UMass Lowell's Wanhawasset buildings that we opened in April of this year. Our expansion in Lowell is driven by the nation's imperative to secure onshore design, manufacturing, and packaging of advanced microelectronics for national security. As such, the Impact Center will support Draper's need to rapidly increase our capabilities and our mission impact, as well as staff our fastest growing market. To put this in perspective, over the last 3 years, Draper has grown its workforce by 37%. And all indications are that our nation is asking us to accelerate that growth further. We are grateful to the ongoing support from the Massachusetts state government at both the local and federal levels, the City of Lowell, UMass Lowell, for their ongoing partnership as we mark today as a significant milestone in our mission to drive innovation in Massachusetts and across the United States. The $25 million is more than an investment in a building. It's an investment in cultivating talent that leads the creation of new jobs in highly skilled markets, trained locally in our universities, college, and trade schools. It's an investment in LINK and the promise that it provides to UMass Lowell and the City of Lowell and the surrounding communities. And finally, it's an investment in Draper, mission to pursue scientific discoveries and engineering solutions to solve the nation's toughest national security challenges so that we can support defending democracy around the world. Again, thank you, Governor and Lieutenant Governor, for the event today and the Commonwealth's support for this critical national security need. Thank you.
There's seats there if anyone who wants to sit down. I'm going to then introduce Secretary Healey. If anyone wants to sit down, you're more than welcome, who's on the stage. I know we've got a few more items to cover for this agenda. I'm going to introduce Secretary Healey next. Before I do that, I want to put an exclamation point on the announcement with Draper and Lowell. You know, Lowell's a gateway city in Massachusetts, and they led the Industrial Revolution, the mills in Lowell. I mean, amazing history tied to what happened there. And we think they can lead the industry again. This is just a tremendous announcement, not only for UMass Lowell, led by Chancellor Chen, the students who will be graduating from there, the opportunity they'll have to work at Draper to support workforce development, and the opportunity to have a gateway city, bring that heft back, a strong regional presence economically, and an extension of that. So we're thrilled to be a partner in that effort, not only to support Draper, to support Lowell, to grow with the Commonwealth and help safeguard the nation. And we're lucky that as part of today's announcement, we're really leaning in. As I mentioned, we have our Economic Development Secretary, who I'll be announcing in 1 minute, our Labor and Workforce Development Secretary, our Veterans Secretary. We have our Undersecretary, Bob LePage, from Education, and we also have our Public Safety Interim Secretary, Sue Terry. Thank you for joining us. You can see what we are doing at our cabinet is an all-of-the-above strategy approach. No silos here. How do we lean in and support this industry? And that's really at the governor's leadership, saying this is important. None of us are as smart as all of us. Let's put those heads together and really advance things. And we're fortunate to have a real leader in economic development who's been here, I joked 52 days. It's a little bit more than that, I think, but not by much, who has a background in helping companies start, grow, and accelerate. He comes to us more from the private sector. We're breaking him into the public sector, those of you who are public sector aficionados. But we couldn't be more thrilled to have Eric Paley leading our economic development efforts. We talk a lot about what we're doing in economic development. From 20 years ago, the life sciences sector, which is now the largest sector in Massachusetts. We're global leaders, 18 of the top 20 life sciences company in Massachusetts, 6,000 clinical trials every single day taking place in our state. We make the impossible possible all the time in that space. Well, that started with government investment, helping seed and develop and grow and nurture that industry here. And now we're doing that in spaces like climate tech and AI and in defense work. And we couldn't have a better partner to help lead that out of our economic development team, our Secretary of Economic Development, Eric Paley.
Thanks, everybody. It's an amazing turnout, which is super exciting. It means you're probably all as excited about what we're doing here as I am, which is really making a priority of national security as also an economic development priority for our state. So just thank you to the governor, the lieutenant governor, Draper CEO Jerry Wolitz, General Tim Ray, who we're going to hear from shortly, Carolyn Kirk, who's my colleague, partners in the legislature, business leaders from across the defense sector who are here today, and military members and veterans. Thank you so much for your service. We're honored to be here today with you. Already, the defense sector is a pillar of the Massachusetts economy, so much so that I was blown away when I started digging into the numbers. It's a $50 billion industry for Massachusetts. It's over 7% of our state economy. It's just about 140,000 jobs here in Massachusetts are related to the defense sector. So this is a key industry. What we're really doing here, as Ben coined a little while ago, is we're going on offense on defense. Right? We really want to put a spotlight on this sector. We want to make it an economic development priority for the state. Defense fuels growth in high-value engineering technology areas that Mass Tech and the Mass Life Sciences Center, Mass Ventures have all been investing in aggressively over time. Areas like microelectronics, where you just heard about Draper's efforts there, but that's across the whole Commonwealth. There are all kinds of incredible things. We'll talk about the NEMSIA Hub shortly. Robotics. I actually know some great robotics entrepreneurs who are here. Autonomy as well, broadly. Some incredible entrepreneurs from that space. AI. I see the head of our AI Hub, Sabrina, here. Quantum, advanced materials, advanced manufacturing. Areas where we as a Commonwealth lead globally. And of course, our talent. Right? We have the world's best talent. I really believe that. I hope all of you see how extraordinary that talent is. And there's no resource I would bet on more than the talent of the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm grateful to Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll for giving their energy and their excitement to this sector and their investment here. We've always been where innovation meets impact. And nowhere is that more evident than the defense sector. I learned recently, I don't know if you know, but in 1777, the Springfield Armory was created. And in 1794, it became the first federal armory in the United States. But that's a really exciting fact. But what's really interesting about it, which General Ray was talking about earlier today when I was chatting with him, is that it's not just about innovation. It's about innovation that meets scale. And they innovated interchangeable parts, which allowed for manufacturing scale for the military, which made an enormous difference. And I know our advanced manufacturing companies today are driving that same kind of scale potential for supporting our national interests. Our world-class universities, research institutions, and startups work closely with defense partners to tackle complex national security challenges. We talked about all the acronyms I need to learn on my 54th day. We talked about, but with the SCALE program, which the governor did talk about, you're going to hear more about that from Carolyn in a moment. It's part of our NEMC hub. It's connecting industry, academia and government with innovations from the lab, getting them to the field and getting them creating jobs and getting them to scale in our supply chains. And then SHIELD, what we're doing here today is about going on offense, being proactive about this sector so that we lead the next generation of innovation and manufacturing scale in our national security. This initiative brings together defense companies, universities, entrepreneurs to grow the sector and keep Massachusetts on the forefront of U.S. competitiveness. It will attract investment for our Commonwealth, it will unlock private capital, and it will expand opportunities for workers and businesses across the state. At Economic Development, we have an initiative called the Business Front Door. Hopefully a lot of you have been exposed to that now. We're going to have a new prioritization on the defense sector as part of that Business Front Door. This is a way for folks inside the state and outside the state to understand how to engage economic development and opportunity within the state. So they're going to see the defense opportunities within the state. This will help them easier access business opportunities, find contracts, funding opportunities, partnerships, if they're expanding, if they're hiring, or developing new technologies. By providing a clear entry point to state government through the Business Front Door, we're ensuring that Massachusetts remains the best place to invent and build technologies that keep our nation secure. You heard before, but we started the National Guard, but what's amazing about the National Guard is it was started in 1636, more than 100 years before the Revolutionary War. Massachusetts has been pioneering in military investment for well beyond the time we've existed as a country, and we will continue to do so. With SHIELD, this expanded focus on the defense sector, we're carrying the legacy forward, we're strengthening our economy, securing our nation, ensuring that Massachusetts remains a place where innovation and service come together. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce MassTech's CEO, Carolyn Kirk, who has been a really important colleague, and we work incredibly closely together on all of this.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you. And I have the privilege to announce the SCALE Award winners. And we're going to do it in a format that will allow you to actually see the organization and understand a little bit more about their work. So let me just take a few minutes, though, to thank Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. Since day one, they have supported the work of MassTech, and we established the Northeast Microelectronics Coalition Hub, and that was through the Federal Chips and Science Act, and it's now one of MassTech's divisions, and it advances the microelectronics needs for the United States Department of War, while spurring new jobs, investments, workforce development, opportunities, more for the region. And I think within 6 weeks of you having taken office, we sort of barged into your office and said, we need to brief you on chips and science and what we're pursuing. Do we have your support? We need your support. Not only did your administration lay down your support, it was unequivocal, and you put in $40 million of state match, which really put our proposal over the top. And we competed against 80 other organizations to win one of 8 hubs across the nation. So thank you for that. I'd also like to thank our U.S. government sponsors, the Naval Service Warfare Center, Crane Division, and the National Security Technology Accelerator. They're unable to join us in person today, but I know that they are watching online, so thank you for your support. For companies and institutions in the Northeast, the NEMC Hub offers access to specialized equipment, collaboration opportunities, funding pathways, technical services, and workforce training support. This lowers the barriers for entry and competition in this complex, fast-moving industry. Last month, we secured $18.5 million in year 3 funding, which brings our total to almost $60 million And we have 2 operational years in the future pending. Looking around the room today, many of you helped us with that initial pursuit for the hub. And the other part of the hub, in addition to operating it, is responding to calls for projects. So these are, the government will put out requests to solve some of the hardest problems, and the members of the hub have to come together and compete for those projects, which we did, and we were awarded the most number of projects for the highest dollar value across the most critical technology areas for the NMC hub. And we're really, really proud of that, and that work is underway right now. The second call for projects will be coming out soon, and the hub stands ready with our members to, again, compete fiercely. So to further drive NMC's impact, the Supporting Chip Advancement from Lab to Enterprise, or the SCALE, grant program launched in April. This program invests in cutting-edge equipment to strengthen technology, workforce, and ecosystem development in microelectronics. This round totals $10.2 million. We're supporting 10 grantees. This cohort includes over 20 industry, startup, and academic partners from across the state, such as key defense industrial partners like Analog Devices, Raytheon, BAE Systems, and more. So I'm going to call the awardees up in the category groups of the awards. And so I'm going to call the first cohort up, and then one by one, we're going to step in front, and I would invite the governor and the lieutenant governor for each of the awardees to step in for a photo. So for ecosystem development projects to address lab-to-fab facility or equipment gaps for the benefit of the broader microelectronics community, there are 4 awards. The first award will go to $3.9 million to MIT Lincoln Laboratory to scale technology for RF and electronic advanced materials. The project will be based in Lexington. Would the MIT Lincoln Lab team please step forward? To the Harvard Center for Nanoscale Systems, or CNS, $627,000 to develop photo-induced forced microscopy, or PIFM. Those who know, know. It's a characterization for electronic systems. Project will be based in Cambridge. Would the Harvard Center for Nanoscale Systems team please step forward? And please start moving forward if you are one of the awardees. If we could have the MITRE team start moving forward. $420,000 to MITRE to help build an advanced research lab for quantum and semiconductor-based photonics and optical technologies. The project is based in Bedford. And lastly, in the ecosystem development projects, we have Tufts University for $353,000. They're going to create a high-resolution X-ray diffraction measurement system. This project will be based in Medford. for our next category, I'd ask the workforce development folks to start moving forward. These 3 awards are projects that strengthen existing programs or help create new ones focused on microelectronics education and training that align with employer needs. So if we could have North Shore Community College come forward, they will be awarded $1.4 million to establish the North Shore Semiconductor Workforce Pathway. All right, I know we have President Clark here. I know you're not shy. So Bridgewater State, please come forward. $1.1 million to create a shared use facility for visible photonics testing and packaging, accelerating workforce and innovation. Bridgewater State University. And we have Berkshire Community College, so we are covering the state, $202,000 to develop an advanced manufacturing and mechatronics workforce program in Pittsfield. Our technology development projects will advance early-stage microelectronics concepts and prepare them for public and or private investment. So I'd ask the 3 awardees under the technology development category to come forward. Harvard Center for Nanoscale Systems, $1.4 million to develop a thermal layer epitaxy system. Okay. IMEC USA, $560,000 to establish a collaborative hub for integrated prototyping in health electronics based in Cambridge. Okay, and last but not least, to our friends in Worcester, $236,000 to Worcester Polytechnic Institute to secure AI chips and intelligent design automation for trusted hardware. Thank you to our SCALE awardees. I look forward to how you will transform the microelectronics ecosystem and bridge that gap between technology development and bringing innovations to market. These awards are opening new doors and new tools, new resources that we'll be able to use and share with the broader NEMC coalition. And through our technical concierge service, which we offer in partnership with MIT Nano. Perfect timing for the upcoming call for projects. In closing, we are so excited to be neighbors and collaborators in this space and look forward to all of the advancements that we will soon see. Thank you. And with that,
thank you, Carolyn, to you and your team. And you saw the breadth of the awards from public sector and private sector to our federal labs. We really do approach this work trying to make sure we're thinking about how we can uplift and empower the work that's happening with the best players that anyone has in the business, and we're fortunate that they're here in Massachusetts. And speaking about the best players in the business, it's now my great privilege to introduce General Tim Ray, the Business Executives for National Security President and CEO. We are so grateful to have him here this afternoon to speak on the topic of the role of the private sector in strengthening national security. When we talk about Team Massachusetts, it is not just about those of us who have the good fortune of serving in public service. It really is about the public sector, the private sector, our nonprofits, our higher ed facilities, all coming together to squeeze out the best and brightest and make sure we're doing all that we can to advance a shared common goal. That's when the magic really happens. And I'm grateful to General Ray and the BENS team for their partnership in this event, as well as for the planning of follow-up convenings and the opportunity that we can really benefit from your knowledge, those of you who are BENS members and others. Together, we plan to continue this level of engagement, ensure that those of us who are in government are listening, learning, and being customer service friendly when it comes to supporting your goals as much and as best as possible. As I mentioned, General Ray is the president and CEO of BENS. BENS is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that brings private sector expertise to government partners at no cost. Before joining BENS, General Ray served as commander of Air Force Global Strike Command, concurrently as commander of the Air Force's Strategic Air at United States Strategic Command. He's also held several other distinguished leadership roles during his Air Force career. We're fortunate to have him leading BENS. We're fortunate to think of him as a partner in this work as we really flex our ability to help ensure we're not only growing a strong Massachusetts, but we're growing a strong and safe country. Please join me in welcoming General Ray.
Well, good day to everyone. What an honor and privilege it is to be at such an amazing place where 250 years ago, the question of who the United States was going to become really started here. And I think it's only fitting to be back here 250 years later with a similar question, that with all the gifts and resources, how then does the Commonwealth factor into that? And my confidence is quite high. I had several prepared comments ready, and now here's where my staff begins to worry. But you don't need me to reiterate some key points. I will be much more efficient with your time. I think that the chance to come here and do this is a total privilege. Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, can I say the LG? Is that LG? Like Pia, it's easier to say, right? So your desire to harness the tremendous world-class resources here could not come at a better time. It is absolutely an imperative. I think that, and what I would do to underscore the comments here, I think that this national security question is a whole of society conversation, an absolute whole of society. It's our investments, it's our school systems, it's our communities. And the good news is, I think the history has served that they're all very willing participants to make sure that we write the best chapter, and I think it's time to write another one. So when we come into that space, it's really important that we tap every single resource we can. Let me offer a couple of points. And why is a nonprofit, nonpartisan group here? I used to think that the role of BENS was really to help the government, and we do some of that. But now in this particular era, I think it's an absolute imperative that we mobilize the business community, because the clarion call, and you've heard it, to come and do what needs to be done without being told is so important. There's 3 key points I'd like to start you with. First of all, this idea of what we have is the defense industrial base in our military. You hear the POM, the budget comes in. It's really a bureaucratic, political convening to give you some resources, but it's really about half of what you require. And so we find ourselves nearly 80 years later, after the beginning of World War II, that we think we really need to retool the entire system. It's critically important. Those high-end capabilities like B-2 bombers flying halfway around the planet for strikes, and then the drones, and the logistics that are required to make it all work, and the concepts of operations, all the things from an infrastructure standpoint that make all of that come together. That's an absolute paramount. But then the dual-use technology is the second point, and I think you all are quite dialed in there, how much it really means to the whole society conversation. There's some races in there we just can't lose. We cannot lose the biotech race. We cannot lose the quantum race. We cannot lose these types of competitions. And you can see that over the past handful of years, I've been worried about this problem for quite a while, spoken about it for quite a while. And now it is very reassuring to see things materialize over the past probably 6 to 8 years where people are thinking about this much more coherently. And I think the momentum that's carrying us through now is really one that gets us to this place today. I would tell you, really, it's a situation that transcends politics. And that's where I, as a nonprofit, nonpartisan, come in to really endorse that particular reality. That's why I think this is a phenomenal time for states. It's the perfect time for states. And I would tell you, Governor, what a great treatment of the set of resources and the issues and putting them all together. It's very, very encouraging. It is the time for people who can leverage those national resources and tools and the state resources and tools, and I think artfully bring in the philanthropic piece of this to really be that facilitator of the things that need to happen. My pledge to you and to the team here, as you've asked us to come alongside, we've got some great Ben's members in the room, phenomenal business leaders that have done a great job helping me through the last couple of years in this job. But we came here when the National Security Commission on Emerging Biotech asked for our help. So that was a bipartisan, bicameral organization that said, we think that this is an important thing. They asked us to look at the findings initially, think through how to retool them, and then we made a pledge to bring them to the industry. We tucked them into every corner. And the really interesting part were the number of people in the biotech industry that started to realize for the first time they were in the national security space. So what we will intend to do here is help as best we can to make sure we're all on the same page as to what we're working up against. It's a very deep and challenging set of concerns. We'll do our best to help you think about the collective resources that you have at play, which is a breathtaking set of opportunities. And then it's to think through how we do more things beyond the region and how we can sprinkle it. I think one of the most important parts that we need to think about competing with the Chinese is dominating verticals. And while we might be able to do certain things in clumps here and across this region and others, until you combine them into one competitive entity, you're not going to beat the Chinese. And that becomes an incredibly important, interesting, but actually not a very complicated skill set for our business community and for our leaders. And then to help you think through how we implement those things. I think when you think about leadership, really at its heart, it's to avoid the crisis. That's not a very common thing to see, but when you think about what drives you to avoid a crisis, it's sometimes fear and concern. I think we should be animated by that with a pretty healthy dose, but here's what I would add to that. You actually have an opportunity to lead with conviction and courage, because if you didn't have an idea of who you ought to be, if you didn't have these resources that exist nowhere else on this planet, then you would lead in fear. And I would say we have every reason but that to lead with conviction and with confidence. So honored to be part of this team, and we'll do what we can to help you. So good luck to each and every one of you. Thanks.
Thank you, General Ray, for your help helping us build this machine. We're a Massachusetts machine, and to ensure that the work that's starting today has a true partner in it. You know, Massachusetts has always been a place where innovation meets purpose, where the work we do just doesn't create opportunity, but helps defend freedom and advance progress. We see it not just as opportunity, but frankly, a responsibility. And so today's announcement builds on that legacy and sets the stage for even greater collaboration ahead. It marks an important step forward in how Massachusetts can better align, better coordinate, and better accelerate our efforts to grow this critical part of our economy and to help safeguard our nation. And we're counting all of you to join us in that mission. So thank you for being here today. I think we're going to have the governor officially sign the executive order, creating our strategic hub, aligning our efforts within our cabinet and outside of it to help ensure we're not only building a safe and strong Commonwealth, but we're building a safe and strong country. Thank you so much for being here.